What's up, everybody? Welcome to Post Game Live. I'm joined by Daniel and Dre. And guys, today was a rough day. The Niners dropped another fucking terrible loss to the Arizona Cardinals by a final score of 24-23. And this one was, if not as bad, if not worse than the loss to the Rams. And it's to a point now where, you know, it's like when they play bad teams, they don't seem to be able to take care of the easy games. The games they should win. They seem to keep losing them. Now the game against the Patriots, I think even Cal could have beat them. But in this case, the Niners went up against the Arizona Cardinals, who had the worst passing defense in the entire league, had one of the worst rushing defenses in the entire league. And for some reason, especially in the second half, they looked elite against the Niner offense, which I really can't understand. It really feels like once we get past the scripted plays by Kyle Shanahan, it's almost like, that scene at the end of Ferris Bueller where he's like, "You're still here. Why are you still here? The show's over." You know what I mean? They're just like, "Oh, wait, the show's over, right?" Like, no, you still have another half to play. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Daniel, help me make sense of this. Like, how the fuck did the Niners lose this game?
There's a lot of factors in today's game. I mean, Niners really should have won this game. They were in the front seat. You know, they had an opportunity to stomp on them before halftime. They weren't able to get that touchdown that they wanted, that we all wanted to see. I think a lot of it comes down to the defense. They weren't able to stop the Cardinals on some critical third down plays. Kyler Murray had a chance to run around like a jackrabbit. And, there was some sloppy play on offense, too many turnovers. I think we had, 3 turnovers in the game, 2 interceptions by Purdy and a critical fumble by Jordan Mason. So, these are the kind of things that you don't want to see the Niners do. They are a stacked roster, from top to bottom. They got incredible talent on that team, and it's starting to kind of lean a little bit more like coaching at this point. Like there's some coaching problems that are going on, defensive schemes that they're trying to do against the opponents that aren't working, and they're failing to adjust. And I think today was another fine example of that. We saw that a little bit against the Rams, and today was just kind of like another miserable loss.
Mm-hmm. It was more than miserable. It was embarrassing. Almost as bad as the Rams loss, but that I thought was worse because they were depleted, and the Cardinals should never have been in the game at all. Mm-hmm. Now, before we get to Dre's take on the game, I just want to say a quick shout out to the sponsor of the show, which is SeatGeek. Where'd it go? There it is. Which is SeatGeek. I'm trying to find my banners. I'm sorry. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save up to $20 in your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. This show is also brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code DreArea Sports when making your first bet over at BetUS, and they will match you up to 125%. Use the referral link down below if you want to use that instead, or use promo code DreArea Sports. And of course, we're brought to you by PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase over at PowerBrandSystems. They will create a magnificent website for your small business or YouTube channel. Check out my YouTube channel, or check out my website, Nicotina.net. At Nicotina.net, you'll see the website that they have created. Memberships are available and communities are available as well, so definitely check that out. Dre, what in God's name happened on Sunday?
It's pretty much everything you guys have already said. Daniel broke the game down pretty well as far as what I saw. This is a failure on all levels. The players' execution, the coaching, everything. It's pretty reminiscent of the Ram game, in control for pretty much the first half. As you're getting through the game, you feel like you have an opportunity to put them away, and they just don't. They haven't put any of these teams away when they've needed to. I I put that on coaching, but at some point it has to come down to player execution as well too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you talking about critical turnovers at critical times. The 2 Brock Purdy turnovers. I mean, we can look back at the film. You know, he was being heavily pressured on both guys, just getting in the passing lanes, throwing their hands up right at the last minute, deflecting balls. But that one by J.P. Mason was absolutely critical. That pretty much changed the end of the game. They ended up catching a little bit of momentum, and then the Niners just haven't been able to close out on defense on third downs, like Daniel Miller said. Third down has been the worst down for this defense since opening week. You can't really. There's so many things that this team is doing wrong. There's no continuity on defense. It's a different defensive lineman, a set lineman every week. These guys haven't really had a chance to really all be on the field together. You're still missing Dre Greenlaw, a crucial part of our linebacking crew. Guys are getting moved in and out in the safety positions, obviously with some key injuries. It's just kind of, it's a shitstorm right now. When it rains, it pours, and it's just pouring shit on the Niners right now.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
The last thing I'll say is they have to be able, and maybe this matchup against Seattle is a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's going to take a shorter week for them to maybe get back on track. I know it's a tall task for them, the way they're playing, to go into Seattle and think they have a legitimate shot in knocking them off. This offense seems to be able to move the ball well, but the last thing I'll say is offensively, they're struggling on fourth. They're struggling in the red.
Dre got locked up. I think what he was going to.
They're not able to territory. I mean, it's just it's. I don't know. There's many things, but that's just what really stood out to me.
Yeah.
No, I mean the fact that they were 1 for 6 in the red zone. Mm-hmm. This was a team that was known for being the most efficient in the red zone. And now I'm starting to believe that maybe Kyle Shanahan is using the same plays that he's been using over the years in the red zone, because whenever they get in the red zone, it feels like all of a sudden nobody is open. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy starts running around and scampering because nobody's open. And I'm not sure what it is, but whenever they get in the red zone, for some reason, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, these guys are not getting open. Now, I don't know if it's because we don't have Christian McCaffrey, if that's the reason why he's not, we don't have the distraction for the defense. But whenever we get into the red zone, it is a complete and utter failure. And today was a huge failure. I mean, they were not able to convert. The fact that right off the bat, they gave up a fucking run to Kyler Murray. For a touchdown.
Basic read option.
Yeah.
A basic read option. And again, I'm sorry, but Devondre Campbell, he's got to go. He sucks. He can't make up ground. He's too slow. He's not a sideline linebacker.
Tackling's been bad.
His tackling has been bad. I understand that. Hey, look, he's just in there because, we need someone to hold down the fort until Dre Greenlaw comes back. I would rather have D. Winters at this point because I don't see the explosiveness, the speed, and the pursuit out of Devondre Campbell. He just looks like he looks like a top-heavy guy trying to run track, and you're just like, no, he can't do that. And like we did last week, Sorensen dialed up a lot of different looks, a lot of different exotic blitzes that he was coming at Jacoby Brissett. Now, granted, Kyler Murray is a better quarterback. Kyler Murray is more accurate, and he's a mobile quarterback. But holy shit, they had practically zero pressure. And when they did have pressure, it always led to a big play. Like, he was able to dissect them, easily. And I just can't understand how the Niners cannot make defensive adjustments to make sure that this guy does not hurt us in the passing game. And one of my worries going into this game was that the Niners were going to have a hard time containing Kyler Murray in the pocket. I felt like he was always going to leak out. He's going to be running for first downs. And what was he doing, especially in the fourth quarter? He was leaking out the middle, running for first downs. And they were powerless to stop him.
Yeah.
Absolute trash. I cannot believe what I'm seeing from these Niners. And, it just really feels like once we get past those scripted plays, all of a sudden the offense becomes stagnant. The offense was moving the ball. And here's one thing about our offense. They're really good at moving the ball. But the moment they get in the red zone, it's like they don't know what the fuck to do. They're just like, oh shit. We don't have a lot of room here. You know, it's like they get claustrophobic or some shit. They just cannot get the ball in the end zone. And that's why you're seeing so many field goals from Jake Moody, because they can't get in the end zone. And that's how these teams are able to stick around. The Rams game, a lot of field goals. And then they were able to stick around. In this game, we had no fucking kicker. Of all the people that could have gotten hurt, the kicker was the one that you really didn't want to get hurt. You're like, let's hope he doesn't get hurt, and he did. And I could not believe it. I mean, look at this shit. I mean, like, look at his foot. It was like, dong. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, that hurt.
Oh,
that hurt. You know, I guess he did something like that in high school, and he was playing safety, and he ended up breaking his ankle doing that. And he was saying, it wasn't a break, thank God, because I did that before.
High ankle sprain,
out multiple weeks. Niners are going to have to scramble to get a viable kicker for Thursday night, which is going to be a tough task.
And don't count on Robbie Gould. That guy's not going to come back. He's done.
No, it seems right now that the Niners just can't get out of their way. You just got some really, really bad injury luck going on right now. Guys obviously trying to do stuff that they really shouldn't be doing, getting injured.
But at the same time, though, it's like Kyle Shanahan. Look, I love Kyle Shanahan. I think he is a really good head coach. He's one of the best in the league, right? And am I calling for Kyle Shanahan's head and saying, "Oh, they should fire Shanahan"? No, not at all. That's belligerency, right? I'm more belligerent about other things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to him having a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, he has to have the worst fucking record out there, especially for like a winning coach, because again, he just cannot hold the lead. And
it's been bad. It's been consistent now at this point. This is not like, oh, I'm surprised that we weren't able to make the adjustments. What is this?
Kyle Shanahan, when the Niners hit the fourth quarter in a close game.
Let's
go!
Terrible.
He converts into Tom
Sula, man. It's something like that.
No, God, please, no. It's I don't know. I'm really surprised that they're struggling this much. With the amount of talent they got on that team, with Kyle Shanahan as their head coach, you would hope that they'd be a little bit more prepared. Have options to make adjustments, in the game, halftime, something like that. But they're not playing good second half football, and really they're not playing 4 good quarters right now. They're not playing 4 quarters.
They're not playing 4 quarters at all.
They're playing like 2.5 good quarters, and that's about it. Yeah, they're spotty. They're a little inconsistent right now. I mean, Bosa had a real nice game. That pick he did was incredible. Nice little scamper there and getting crushed at the end. But he was an impact player today.
Absolutely. He always is. So
I think the D line did a pretty good job against the rush for the most part. In the game. Obviously, the second half, Connor got off on some pretty good chunks and some pretty big runs for first down conversions.
Dude,
third down conversions. So.
James Conner tore them a new asshole in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. He was running dudes over, and they were completely gassed. And here's the other thing, too. That first possession that we had, this happens a lot with Kyle Shanahan. He'll be like, hey, they're really shitty against the pass. We're going to come out passing. And what'd they do? They did it against the Vikings. The Vikings last year were really bad against the pass. They came out, stolen the shit out of the ball, 3 and out. They come out against the Cardinals, who have a very shitty passing defense. Instead of saying, no, let's establish a running game, establish our play action. No. 3 straight passes, 3 and out. And not only that, but the passes that Brock was throwing, they were terrible passes. I mean, he looked like Mr. Irrelevant in those first 3 passes. They weren't accurate. They weren't on time. I was like, what's going on? Yeah. It's almost like, it's almost like with Brock Purdy. And don't get me wrong. I love Brock Purdy. I'm a huge Brock Purdy fan. But it feels like as long as certain things are in place, he's kind of like a mogwai. Like he can't be too hot. He can't get wet. God forbid you feed him after midnight. Who knows what the fuck's gonna happen to this guy? But it's like if it's too hot or if it's too wet, he's not gonna do good. And that first possession, he looked lackadaisical. Like, oh man, it's really hot. Oh well. Let's get to the sideline and get to the coolers. It's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? There was no killer instinct in that first drive. And then what happens? Kyler Murray turns around and runs for a touchdown. Like, oh my fucking God. I couldn't believe it. So let's take a look at the stats. And so, you know what? I'll tell you what. Before we look at the stats and really start to shit talk in this game, let's go to something that's a little more happier. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Dodgers lost today 10-2. Padres tied up that series. Let's go, Pods. Let's go.
Padres.
Fuck those Dodgers. Fuck those Dodgers. You Darvish. Fuck yeah. 7 innings.
Oh, yeah.
1 earned run.
Old squad. Definitely.
Old squad. He went 7 strong.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
They only used 3 pitchers.
He definitely won that game for them, for sure.
And on top of that, Shohei Ohtani went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah. Oh, what do you know?
And Mookie Betts 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Yeah, he has no hits.
He got robbed by.
Oh yeah, he did. He got robbed today. So, and on top of that,
all good things in the baseball.
Before the game was over, before the game was over, the fans were already getting into fights. Let's take a look at that. Dodger fans fighting Dodger fans.
Oh, what do you know?
Fucking losers. Oh, goddamn.
He got slammed. Dodger on
Women
Dodger
screaming.
Oh, that guy's knocked out.
He's not moving. He's like, oh. If he's not knocked out, he's fucked up. All right, anyway. It sounds like a fucking massacre was going on there. But so Dodgers lose 10-2. They got their ass whooped.
Just like that guy.
Let's go. I like that.
Just like that guy.
Just like that guy.
Well, I do feel a lot better going into the stats now. Yeah, let's do the deep dive.
It feels better. It just does.
Yeah.
Everything feels better now. Okay, so let's go into the stats. Brock Purdy was 19-35 for 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. One of those I wouldn't really count. In fact, both of them weren't bad passes. They were deflections that led to interceptions. He had a 62.1 quarterback rating. I mean, 19-35 is not that great. Kyler Murray, 19-30 for 195, a touchdown, a pick, but he also ran for a touchdown as well, which proved to be the difference in this game.
Yep.
James Conner, I think he had like 7 yards in the first half. Ended the game with fucking 86 yards off of 19 rushes. Just completely just ran over the defensive line. Like he ran through them like buttered. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason, 14 rushes for 89 yards. He had the big crucial fumble, motherfucker. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure at the end of the game, he missed the block, which led to the hit on Purdy, which then led to the fumble.
Yep.
Receiving wise, Brandon Ayuk. Okay. I will now say, Brandon Ayuk, you are no longer missing. You've been found. He had 8 catches for 147 yards. He needed a touchdown, but he was back. He was fully back today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
George Kittle, who they said was questionable, 8 catches for 64 yards. He had a touchdown. He had 1 drop, which was kind of like, but Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings. I mean, I know Juwan Jennings hurt his hand, but Deebo, where did he go? He only had 3 targets.
Yeah, it was all about Brandon Ayuk today. I mean, the guy was getting open. He looked like the Ayuk that we've been wanting to see since day one. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen. So it took 5 games for him to get into rhythm with Purdy, and there's the results finally. Obviously, we didn't win the game, but it's a positive note.
Yeah,
on a shitty loss.
On a shitty loss. I mean, and this is as shitty losses get. In a game where you're up, at one point we were up 24-10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, 23-10. And
right, and 7 of those 10 came from that fucking Kyler Murray run on the second play of the game. I think it was for the Cardinals. If it wasn't for that bullshit, we would have been in way better position in the game, And that play right there, not only Campbell, I don't know what the fuck he was misplayed it, but Hufanga also fell for it as well and was trailing on that rush.
He was,
and then
dude.
he got hurt. He got hurt too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's having a rough go.
Yeah,
he got hurt, but then I thought Malik Mustafa came in and he played really good. I like what I saw out of Mustafa. There's still some growing and some development with him, but I don't feel like when we have Mustafa in the game that it's a detriment to the team. I feel like it's a good thing for the team. I think he's it's a positive thing for the Niners. Now, this is the part that has me worried. After all this shit, this is who we have lined up. You got Seattle, Kansas City, and then Dallas. Like, that bye week couldn't come soon enough.
God.
The Niners are at a point now where by this Friday, they could be 2-4. Going against the Chiefs. And if they lose that game, they go 2-5. And then they'll win against Dallas because we always beat Dallas. And that'll be it. They might go 3-5 into the bye week.
And that's tough.
You're right. It's extremely possible, and the schedule is not going to get any easier by any means. And the Niners need to get this figured out. They need to get healthier. I think a lot of the offensive struggles, as you already talked about, is due to not having Christian McCaffrey, who pretty much does absolutely everything offensively for us. Catch, run, is huge in the red zone, and obviously not having him right now is causing issues, and we're just not able to capitalize. Look at the numbers from today's game; they're a little skewed because yes, Brandon Ayuk definitely had the best game of his of the short season so far. You'd like to see a little bit more ball distribution, and maybe guys just not being open. I really hope the weather did not play a factor, especially on the Niners end, because if that's the case, I mean, you can pretty much you're going to be going into a rough place in Seattle on Thursday, and
Thursday
out of hand really quick. So you're hoping that the information that we got earlier this week about Christian McCaffrey hopefully being ready by week 7. You got Ricky Pearsall hopefully coming back from the IR. You hopefully can continue to get healthy. And you gotta expect that once we have a full team that you can try to make a run, because there's just been absolute no consistency with this team to this point.
Nothing.
I mean, where do you fit Ricky Pearsall in all this?
Nowhere.
Well, where does he go at this point? You got Jawan Jennings, who's been playing really well. Brandon Ayuk is now back, according to what we saw today. You got Debo that's always in the mix. You got Kittle that's out there. I mean, you're not going to see very much of him, I think. I mean, who are you going to bench? Juwan? It's just I don't know. It's great to have more weapons at Purdy's, fingertips, essentially. So that's going to be helpful. But I think the Niners right now are at a crossroads this early in the season because of the way they've lost these games. They're looking at it's danger time right here. If they let this game go against Seattle, and then they got to go up against the Chiefs, they're going to be toast if they lose both these games back to back. I mean, you can't imagine them making a strong playoff push. Losing what 5
games.
Having a loss against every divisional opponent.
The Niners have not beaten an NFC team this year. They've only beaten the Jets
and the Patriots.
Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's unbelievable, and we're at home. And here's the thing too: the Niners had an advantage against the LA Rams. We all call that place, Levi South. Niner fans take over that fucking stadium. They fucking blew that game and lost that game. They're at home against the fucking Arizona Cardinals, and it's hot. It's hot. I don't give a fuck if it's hot. You're a more talented team than this team is. Yet, in the second half, the Arizona Cardinals absolutely outplayed the 49ers. And I think, again, this is a case where the Niners defense and offense just gets complacent with where they're at. Like, well, we got all kinds of talent. We're fine. We've been here before. And they just give it up.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of holes on the defense that continually get exposed, that they're just kind of playing through it because they don't want to admit that, hey, we gave Devondre Campbell a lot of money. Yeah, we shouldn't be playing him, but we gave him a lot of money, so we got to make that contract, worth our while. No, he needs to sit. I'm done seeing Devondre Campbell. If it's a running down where they're running up the middle, hey, he's good. Anything else, he's not that great. Pass coverage is horrible.
Yeah.
I would rather see D. Winters that has more speed and better pursuits of the ball. I'd rather see D. Winters out there than Devondre Campbell. And I'm sorry, at this point, based on this fucking loss tonight, the Niners right now are fucking pretenders. They do not strike me as a team that is contending for a Super Bowl. They look like a team. They remind me of the fucking Eagles of last year. That's what they remind me of.
Yeah, a talented team that is not able to win the games that they should be winning. They're playing down to teams that they need to be stomping. And that is not part of the recipe here for a run to the Super Bowl. We need to be beating these teams.
Oh, exactly. It's exactly what we said. Poor execution in the red zone.
Look at this shit.
And letting teams continue to be in the game.
They're watching the fucking game in the fucking hallways instead of going out in their seats because it's too hot.
Well, I mean, have you been to this place?
No.
That side of the stadium is a fucking oven. It is ridiculous how they built this stadium. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the stadium and the layout. It is so smoking hot on that side. I mean, I'm surprised you don't hear more about people passing out due to heat stroke over there.
Oh, God forbid. Then they finally do something. Oh, shit. Like, they can't invest in fucking misters or fucking something to cool that side of the fucking facility down. It's a fucking joke. No, the fans should be out there cheering their team on, and they're in the fucking hallways hiding from the sun.
Yeah, the videos are telling, and there's finally, hopefully, there's opening some eyes, hopefully, in the press boxes above, because that's absolutely just, that's not football. That's not how football should be. You hope that they can make some changes. They need to invest in the stadium. They need to put some more shade for the fans, especially on that side of the stadium.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. It just you're basically living under the sun on that side of the stadium.
Yeah, it's a fucking joke. Yeah. It's a fucking joke. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the defensive stats for this game. Budda Baker, 12 tackles. The guy was fucking flying everywhere. T.Y. McGill, he got in there for one total tackle. Leonard Floyd, he had 5 tackles and a sack. Yeah. I thought he had a pretty good game, and he had the pressure on Kyler Murray, who basically just threw it up to Marvin Harrison Jr. to get that big first down.
That was a big one.
Fred Warner had 12 tackles. Isaac Yiadom had a good game. He had a pass deflection. And on top of that, obviously, Diamador Lenore had
scoop and score.
Yeah,
look, you're talking about a game where Nick Bosa got an interception.
Yeah.
We blocked the field goal
and scored a touchdown off of it.
Dude,
we scored a special team touchdown.
You think we're winning every time we actually do that?
But here's the thing. So they blocked the field goal. They run it back for a touchdown. Yeah, I was like, we were fucking going crazy, man. Daniel and I. And then what happens? The very next play, kickoff, big return up to the 50-yard line. Like, oh my fucking God. You just can't put 2 and 2 together. You can't just do good things back to back. And then what did they do? They scored off that drive, I want to say.
Too much, Andre. It's asking too much of us.
It's asking too much of special teams. Like, hey, at least we did something. And then, but look, Malik Mustafa, he came in for the injured Hufanga, who had the hurt hand. He had 2 tackles. He also had 2 pass deflections, too. Yeah, and he had a lot of hard tackles.
Balls, yeah.
Jair Brown exited the game as well, didn't he? at some point.
Yeah, but
according to
back.
one source,
He did come back, and I saw him throughout the game, and he made some real nice tackles. But
yeah,
you know,
he exited the field after turnover on downs. He exited the field.
Yeah, but you saw, you know, again, like some missed tackles there, especially in that second half. You know, and there's some fundamental stuff that's not going on right now with that team, and you know, it really comes down to coaching and player execution on the field.
Yeah.
And I think Shanahan really needs to dig into this one really bad because
he doesn't have any time.
If the Niners tank this season, there's going to be some major changes.
I don't think so.
Changes.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
Well, it's that the talking will definitely intensify about.
I think if they have a bad season, I don't see Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch on the hot seat. I don't.
No.
I think that Sorensen will be gone, and at this point,
he might not make it through halfway through the season.
Dude, at this point,
at this pace,
dude, at this point, it's like, if we tank this year, I just hope they fire Robert Saleh so that the Niners can hire him back as their defensive coordinator and just kind of bring things back to normal again. Because it appears to me that Kyle Shanahan leans heavily on his defensive coordinators. He leans heavily on DeMeco Ryans. He leaned heavily onto Robert Saleh to really run that defense, to coach up that defense. And then he saw the differences that Steve Wilkes was doing to the point where even in the Super Bowl, he called a timeout because he was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Like get it together. And he still fucking couldn't get it together. Niner for Life writes, we're not making the playoffs if we lose anymore. Exactly. You got Seattle on Thursday, right? They just fucking shit the bed at home, but now they get another game at home against the Niners who have zero confidence. The Seahawks offense, I mean, Geno Smith was throwing for over 300 yards for like 3 straight games. Until today, I don't know what the fuck happened to him today.
Yeah.
In fact, why don't we take a look at that? Because that was like another aberration. I couldn't believe that even happened. The Giants beat the Seahawks. Was it 29-20? Like a fucking weird score. Yeah, 29-20. Okay. So Geno Smith was 28 of 40 for 284 and a touchdown. Kind of all right. It's all right game. Daniel Jones,
not bad numbers. He had 72 rushing yards. I mean, Geno Smith, this guy is actually playing out of his mind this season right now. I think there's some talk about him, you know, being up there in the upper echelon of quarterbacks this season because of the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
To kind of see him do this today, I mean, it is what it is. But they still gave up 29 points to the freaking Giants, man.
Yeah, Chiefs in 2 weeks. If we lose this game on Thursday, it's almost over. But here's a silver lining. Okay, let me get this crap off the screen. Hold on. Here's a silver lining. According to Dave Lombardi, if the Niners win this Thursday, we're in first place.
The NFC West.
It's the NFC West. Everybody sucks.
But what if Arizona wins next week? They're not.
I don't know. Do they even play next week?
Oh, maybe if they have the bye, then yeah. Then
I'd have to check.
Let's double check.
That's pretty nutty.
Yeah, because right now the Cardinals have the tiebreaker with us at this point.
I type in Cardinals
and one.
I type in Cardinals and it says St. Louis Cardinals. No love. Let's see. Here they are. The Cardinals.
They play the Packers.
That's what Lombardi said. He said, and I don't see them beating the Packers anyway. So either way, well, they'd be in first place because the Cardinals hadn't played yet because we're playing on Thursday night. So if we win Thursday, we're in first place. And then depending on if the Cardinals win on Sunday against the Packers,
now that makes sense.
Which I don't think they will because they're playing in Green Bay. I don't think Kyler Murray's little short ass will be able to win that one. Lombardi is a clown. It's already over. The Giants sacked Geno like 5 times. Yeah, but that's the problem. if you look at the Arizona Cardinals, right, and this is what I was looking at when I was talking to Alden Kemp of the Arizona Sports Show over on IE Sports Radio. We were looking at their past games, and they were giving up like 5 sacks a game. And then they come in here to San Francisco, and they look like a fucking powerhouse. I mean, we didn't get all that much pressure on him. And Kyler Murray, man, the guy kept slipping right out. First down. It was like, holy fuck. Just contain the guy.
Niners
49ers are pussies and soft. They kind of are. I agree. They are soft. They don't have that killer instinct.
No,
Dante Whitner was on, he does a show on CSN Bay Area. I think it's still called that. I don't know. Oh, NBC Bay Area. Sorry. And they asked him about, like, what's going on with the Niners' identity on defense. And he said there is no identity. Nobody fears them. He was like, when I played with Deshaun Golson, we were blowing dudes up. And the main reason why we were blowing dudes up is because when the opposing team would watch the film for their upcoming matchup with us, they would see us lighting up receivers and lighting up tight ends that came across the middle. And so then they knew, like, okay, if I go across the middle, I'm going to get fucking whacked. And so he was like, we put that fear in them so that when they did make those plays, they did it with caution, like, because they knew that that they were lurking. He's like, this team doesn't have that. This team doesn't have that fear. Mm-hmm. They don't. I'm sorry, Devondre Campbell, he looks like a lump of shit running around out there not doing anything. He had the pass deflection, which was great, and he's made some plays, but not on a consistent basis. Nowhere near Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, I mean, if you stack up Fred Warner with Campbell right now, it's so uneven in talent. When you had Dre Greenlaw out there, you're talking about 2 guys that were really badass.
Sideline to sideline.
Sideline to sideline. They hit you hard. Greenlaw, he don't care about penalties.
They're missing that for sure.
And you're right. Right now, the Niners on defense don't have any kind of identity. They have nothing to show the other team that, hey, you're going to be going up against this, and this is nothing right now. Even on offense, we have a really good run game with Mason, but today it was effective, but then it wasn't effective, and that fumble really killed us in this game.
Yeah, it wasn't featured. You're right. The run game was not featured in this game.
It wasn't really featured,
The play action, every once in a while, but Kyle Shanahan can sometimes be, or not sometimes, we know he can be his own worst enemy with the way he calls plays. It definitely affected the outcome of this game offensively.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The defense is atrocious, and how bad we're playing. No one is going to want to come play with us during the trade deadline. I don't know. I think they can still acquire talent, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, offensively in the second half, especially the second half, they became so anemic. It's like they were great at moving the ball. They get to the red zone, and then they just completely shut down. They just cannot get it into the end zone. And everyone's like, well, Brock threw George Kittle a bad pass. He could have had a touchdown. Yeah, he could have. But there's a lot of plays where Brock
was actually right in his hands. That was right in his hands.
I know, but it was well defended.
It was well defended, yeah. But
that's my problem is that this team doesn't have a good defense, the Cardinals, but yet they're well defending a lot of these plays.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, one of the things I think that people need to understand is that, and we've seen this before with like the Golden State Warriors, right? When teams come to play the Warriors, you're going to get their 110, 150% effort because they want to beat you because you're an elite team. This year, every team that they've gone against has been going 100 miles an hour. The only team that hasn't was the Patriots because they suck. And the Patriots know that there's no future in this season. But every other team that we played has come at us 100 miles an hour because they want to be able to say, yeah, we beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
We beat those fuckers. And they were in the Super Bowl. We beat them.
Yeah.
And so now
it just doesn't look good right now. That's all.
No, it looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. It just looks like we got a lot of work to do.
Niner for Life writes, the offense isn't the problem, but that fumble killed. Yeah, that fumble fucking killed us.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I told Daniel, I was like, ball game. That's it. It's over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right there.
I had no faith that the defense was going to stop them whatsoever. I knew. I was like, they're going to go right down and kick a field goal. Game over.
You know, interesting is listening to Kyle Shanahan after the game, they gave Wisnowski a 15-yard limit. Like, if you're within 15 yards of the end zone and it's fourth down, we'll let you kick it. Mm-hmm. That was his confidence zone area. Anything outside of that's where you saw the Niners go for it, on fourth and whatever the fuck it was, fourth and a mile. And that losing Moody was very significant to the outcome of this game.
It was fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they had. What were they going to do? They were fucked.
Yeah, and then, we saw Juice on the sideline kicking field goals.
I would have had him go out there. He probably would have got it done.
I thought there was somebody else that could actually kick. And I'm pretty sure it was our fullback.
But the Cardinals,
it was probably McCaffrey.
Yeah, it probably was. But the Cardinals, dude, they had their backup kicker in the game, and he got his first kick blocked. So it wasn't like he was rolling. So look,
that was a great block, by the way.
But the problem is that. You could argue, well, the Cardinals knew that they weren't going to kick a field goal, so that's why they were able to defend the red zone so well. But with the amount of talent that we have on this team, they should have been able to get the ball into the end zone at a much higher rate. Yeah. And they, for some reason, when they get in the red zone, they have not been effective at getting the ball into the end zone. Yeah, 1 for 6 today in the red zone.
Why are we not
terrible.
Looking for Debo? Why are we not being very versatile with Debo? I don't see him in the backfield doing very much anymore, and I don't know if that's just to hopefully keep him healthy because he's been banged up already. But there's just no creativity. Everything seems just drop back pretty and try to wiggle free, make something happen, go off schedule. Yeah. And it's not what we're built to do. It's not how we've been successful. Yeah. It's like we're trying to be successful and we're trying to be this gung-ho passing attack, heavy passing attack. Mason got his touches, but he wasn't featured in this game. I don't know why we don't utilize him more in the passing game too, or at least attempt to try to utilize him like Christian McCaffrey. We all know he's not Christian McCaffrey, but he can still utilize his skill sets to be that check down and that guy that can, get him in space. He's going to break tackles and he has an opportunity to take it to the house just because of how tough he runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm a little bit, go ahead.
I was like, guys, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, Daniel.
I'm a little bit worried seeing the amount of scrambling that Purdy is doing in the backfield. This guy is I mean, he's being very elusive. I'll give him that. He's making some runs for some really big gains when he needs to, but this shit he's doing back there, trying to run around, it's going to get him killed, man. One of these linemen are going to get a hold of him and just smack the shit out of him. So I think they really need to focus a little bit on Purdy as well. Like, hey, slow down. If you don't see the play, run straight. Don't run around in the backfield looking for someone to get open because you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to a huge hit. And tonight I saw Justin Fields doing a little scrambling around and went to pass the ball and got his head blown off. And it was a horrible pass, and he had to get taken out of the game for a play or two because the refs pulled him out. But those are the kind of things that happen when your quarterback is back there trying to make something happen. I'll give him credit for that. But he's doing this very consistently now. Like, you see this crazy scrambling happen. It's like, bro, just throw the ball away if it ain't there. You're going to get yourself killed. Sometimes he executes on a crazy pass, and that's great. But I didn't really see that today. I didn't see a whole lot of that last game. Yeah. Slow down, Purdy. Slow down.
Yeah, it's like if it's not there, throw it away.
Or just get out of there. Just
all the extra steps you're taking, it's kind of like, okay, just run forward and slide. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to keep the play alive, and I love that. But yeah, he's extending the play too much, with the point where you're like,
playing dangerous, playing with fire. Right there.
Living on the edge.
I like what David says here. They have to get back to bully ball. What happened to all the dogs that we had on defense? It's like they expect teams to roll over and take the L just because we're the Niners. And that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, that's what it looks
He
like.
writes, don't get me wrong. I love Purdy. I love the way Purdy throws the ball deep, but I feel like he doesn't look at the check down options anymore. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
There was one where he was running around, and I saw Garendo open. I even yelled at him, Garendo! He was open in the flat, but he was just like, he was too busy running around.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that play led to anything. He ended up running for a first down, I think. So,
You know, I think you bring up Garendo, and I think that's another area that the Niners have as a weak point, because if we had Christian McCaffrey, you got Mason as his backup. Right now, it's Mason as the starter, who's an excellent runner, excellent player. But the backup, I'm not really confident with Garendo. You got a rookie, running back there that really missed a lot of training camp.
Not getting any touches too.
He's not. And the touches he's getting, he's not breaking anything. He's supposed to be this really fast dude,
Yeah.
And you're not seeing it, so you don't really have a good I don't know what the right word is, but it just doesn't look fluid out there with those two as your 1 and 2.
He doesn't look fluid though. He looks disjointed when he runs. He looks like somebody who you give him the ball and he's like, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of running like, oh shit.
It almost looks like the speed of the game is still a little too fast for him, because he
can't process it.
He's not seeing the gaps. He's not seeing the seams. Or like, he obviously needs more time, more polishing.
Well, and not only that, but Isaac Garendo, he on a kickoff, he brought it out of the end zone. And he didn't even get to the 30. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why even bring it out? That was another dumb mistake by Isaac Garendo. And he had a couple of runs that weren't that bad.
No, he did, yeah.
But he doesn't have that burst of speed. He doesn't have that vision that, like, let's say Mason has, or Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Or who the fuck's their backup? Patrick Taylor?
Taylor.
Why isn't he in the game? Why are we seeing Garendo?
You're going like third and fourth string at that point.
But I mean, you're talking about a guy who played with the Packers last year. He's a veteran player.
Yeah.
But you'd rather go with Garendo and let Patrick Taylor just sit there on the sidelines like, yeah, fuck off. I don't get that.
I don't get it either. There's no 1-2 punch in the backfield right now.
No, you don't.
No, it's just Mason, and then Garendo now and then.
Mason and Debo. That's all you really see.
And that was one thing we didn't see at all today. We didn't see Debo in the backfield.
Yeah, he had a run.
He had a couple. He
had a couple, but it wasn't really effective. And honestly,
this one run.
Yeah, I hate to see Debo out there, running the ball like that, because when he gets hit as a running back, he's getting fucking hammered.
Yeah, well, he's delivering punishment at the same time.
Debo had three. He had 3 rushes for 9 yards. That was it.
Yeah. What was his longest?
7.
7. Yeah.
So the other 2, he got like a yard on each one.
Yeah. It just wasn't effective today.
Yep.
Like I said, they were able to move the ball. He was throwing the ball like crazy to Brandon Ayuk, and it just, like I said, their red zone efficiency has to go up. If they're able to score touchdowns in the red zone at ease, then this game is over. It would never be close. But they couldn't do it, and they kept having set up for field goals or going for it on 4th down. It was like, oh my God, what's happening right now? And when you look at what's coming up next for the Niners, I mean, you got Seattle, and then you got the Chiefs, and then you got the Cowboys, and then you got a bye week. What's up, Alden? Thanks for stopping by. Yes, the Arizona Cardinals won. This is Alden over from IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all those sports.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man?
GG's, man. Whatever.
You won your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you got the Chiefs, you got the Cowboys, and you got a bye week, which is going to be a huge bye week right there. And then you got the Buccaneers, which I think they could beat them. To be honest, look, if we're playing up to our standard, I feel like we can beat the Buccaneers, we can beat the Seahawks, we can beat the Packers. I don't know about the Bills. We can beat the Bears, the Rams, The
The Bills
Dolphins.
are vulnerable.
There's
for
a lot
sure.
of inconsistencies with these teams that I'm looking at. If we're
Yeah.
talking about where the season is at right now, obviously the landscape can change, as we all know, on the flip of a dime. But you're right. There needs to be a quick fix, and it needs to start this Thursday. And they don't have enough time to sit and think about what could have happened or what did happen. The fact is, they lost.
Yeah, they got to move forward.
but
But you have to look at this loss and examine it. I mean, fucking spend 4 hours on it, damn it.
No, they will.
Half
They
a day.
They will, but
spend some time.
But this is
figuring
a
shit
game
out.
they should have won.
I
It'd
know.
be one thing if we beat the Rams and beat the Cardinals, but then we lost to the Chiefs and we lost to the Packers. Okay, I get that. But now you run the risk of you might lose to the Chiefs. You might lose the Bills. You might lose the Packers. You don't know.
Mhm.
And now you have to run the gauntlet. Then you got the Lions in week 17 just waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's like the story of the NFL this season. Like it's honestly this season, anyone can win on Sundays right now.
There's besides Minnesota, there's really no team that you say, wow, this is just
Or like the fucking Washington Commanders or what? They're 4-1.
yeah,
5-1.
they're
Like
tearing
what
it
the
up.
fuck?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they granted they haven't really played anybody crazy, but
Because they're a bad
they-
team,
they-
yes, they have an
yeah,
easier
and-
schedule.
and but give them credit. A win's a win in the NFL. You'll take them however you can get them.
Yep.
It's a short week. That's all I know. You gotta wipe your hands clean of this one. Yeah, own it, accept it for a little bit, but you got to move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta be all your focus is now is how against the Seahawks in their house.
Yeah. We got to get the Seahawks.
All right,
It's
let's
must
go to
win.
score
Must
predictions.
win.
Oh, no.
Let's go to score predictions
I've
right
been
now.
bad at this all season.
What do you guys think about the score predictions all season? Okay. Let me just say this. They went for 2. The Cardinals did, and so it was like, what is it? It was like 23. It was 23-21,
Yeah.
right?
21.
And so in my head, I'm like, okay, so if the Niners go down and score a touchdown, that would be 31-21, and that'd be the game. And I was like, dude, I've almost called the score. I knew that they could do this, and then he fumbled, and it all went to shit. Okay, so score predictions. Let's go around the horn and go over our score predictions on what the ending score will be against the Seahawks in Week 6. Dre, let's start with you from the bottom.
This is looking like it's shaping to be one of those, I'm going to say it, defensive struggles, even though we've seen both of these teams not perform very well, especially in the secondary. I think both front sevens are formidable. This game's going to most likely be under 24 points. Probably similar to this last game against the Cardinals. Probably just able to score enough points. I'm going to call it 20-17 Niners.
20-17 Niners. Okay. Daniel?
Well, I think we're going to have a hard time kicking field goals for some reason. I just feel it because who knows who they're going to get off the streets, to help us out this game, let alone confidence in that player to kick a 45 or a 50 yarder. So with that said, I'm going to go Niners 28, Seattle 26.
Close one. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a close game. And I think the Niners should be able to score touchdowns. They're going to have to score touchdowns because I think the kicking game isn't going to be all there.
Yeah,
They're not going to rely that much on your kicker for field goals. So they're going to want to score some touchdowns. Hopefully they work some shit out, you know. But I mean, right now, I just want to fucking win. I don't care what the score is. It could be 3-0 at this point. I just want to win.
For me, I have no confidence in the Niners right now. I think this game, because the Seahawks lost this past week, they know that first place on the line, and they want to make sure they establish their game against the Niners. So I'm going to say 31-17 Seahawks. I don't think it's close. I don't see this team bouncing back from this kind of loss. And I'm a Niner fan. I love the Niners, but I don't see them winning this game. Yeah. But strangely enough, I see them beating the Chiefs and beating the Cowboys and going to the bye week just to fuck everybody up. 2 in a row. We're back in it.
Crazy prediction.
We're 5-4.
I mean, I'll
No,
never
that's not
predict the Niners to lose, Andre, but it doesn't look that great. I get it. I get it. Totally get it. But like I said, I think the Niners are going to win, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I mean, I could be off on my score, but if the Niners win, it's going to be a close game.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. Are you high?
The 12th man. The 12th man.
Niner for Life says
Felix.
35-31 Seahawks.
Oh, another rooting for the Seahawks.
Felix says 34-28 Niners.
High scoring.
Yeah. To me, I think that I because of the fact that we have a quick turnaround, I see the Niners just making mistake after mistake and not executing, and that's why they lose the game.
Yeah, they're going to have to really shut down the run game, because today, if you look at the stats for the Seattle game, they ran like shit if it wasn't for Geno Smith. And in the game where the Seahawks played, who they have that game against, it was a huge shootout. It was just last week. Anyways,
it was the Cowboys?
No, not the Cowboys. But in that game, Kenneth Walker had fucking 3 touchdowns and ran for a whole shit ton of yards. And Geno Smith had a phenomenal game. So it all starts with shutting down the run. If they can do that, then my prediction will become closer to the truth.
Oh, was it the Eagles? Did they play the Eagles?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the Eagles.
Was it the
It
Eagles?
was someone like that.
Because they ended up winning the game, right? Seattle won the game?
No, Seattle lost. They've lost 2 in a row.
Oh, well, Detroit. Was it that game against
Detroit? That's what it was. It was Detroit. So Seattle's lost 2 in a row. So that's why I think that they're going to come out with a big sense of urgency. Yeah. And the Niners are going to go in there and they're just going to be fucking shell shocked. Like, oh, we can't do anything right. Special teams. Oh shit. But look, I think that the Niners lose this game, and I think they hit rock bottom. And I think the only way they can bounce back is to get CMC back and take on the Chiefs. And I think they beat the Chiefs at home, because they're going to be in. Oh, they're going to be in wait, where are they going to be at? They're going to be at home, right?
That game's at home.
Yeah, that's at home. I was like, fuck.
Is it the next 2 games are at home?
Yeah.
After Seattle?
Yeah, it's Chiefs and Cowboys in Levi's, which is great. Yeah. And then we go on the road to Tampa, which is not really like a scary place to play in. And then at home again. And then on the road, we go to Lambeau Field, and we go to Buffalo. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, we'll worry about that next week.
but like, just like Niner for Life says, no lead is safe. Not with this defense.
No, yeah. There's nothing is safe right now with Niners at this point.
I mean, they couldn't even stop the Arizona Cardinals from just scoring and getting back in the game. This felt like I was watching Cal versus Miami last night. They're up 35-10. And it's just like they just kept on scoring and scoring and scoring, and then Miami took the lead, and then they won the game. It was like, fuck! You felt it coming watching this game. You're like,
the cardiac canes.
I was like, they're not going to stop, are they? Oh, fuck! There we go, fumble. And you know what? They were set up to at least score on that drive. When Mason
for sure.
The ball.
Yeah. That was going to be at a minimum 3 points. I hope. I mean, that was within the Wisnowski comfort zone. So I mean, it was like, okay,
the kicking zone, not the landing zone.
Not the landing zone.
Not the landing zone. This is the comfort zone for Wisnowski. I mean, it is interesting how a punter cannot kick to be a kicker at the same. So you're doing the same fucking thing, right? You're just kicking the damn ball, except you're not kicking it.
It's just a little different.
It's just a little different. How hard is it? You're a kicker. Come on.
I was trying to think of like a comparison to that, and I can't think of one at the moment. That's like, in China they speak either Cantonese or
Mandarin. Yeah.
But if you put someone who talks Mandarin and you ask a guy who speaks Cantonese, hey, can you translate? Oh, no, it's totally different. Like, what? And for an outsider looking in, you're like, what do you mean it's different? It should be similar in some sense, right? Like, no, it's not at all. So I don't know. You would think a punter, or you would think a field goal kicker would be like, I can punt the ball. Fuck yeah. And then they're like, oh.
The ball's spinning still? Oh.
Laces out.
The Niner D-backs.
I have to hold it?
the secondary as well has been pretty shoddy this season, I think.
Really, I actually thought they played really good.
Dude, they give up some pretty big plays when they didn't need to. But, it really comes down to putting pressure on the quarterback. If you can't get that pressure on the quarterback, then, it leaves those D-backs a little vulnerable. And you saw a little bit of that today.
We had one sack today. Just one. That's it.
Hey, why not? Chip away.
I mean, but Bosa got an interception. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, that was a badass play.
Well, they were obviously able to get some type of pressure on Kyrie and force him into a couple turnovers in the first half, and then all of that just dissipated.
Who disappeared in this game? It wasn't even a factor, and they were a factor last week. Was Kevin Gibbons and Sam Okeanu? I didn't even know they were out there.
Yeah.
Didn't see them. They each registered one tackle. That's about it.
Floyd continues to be non-existent.
He had a sack. He had 5 tackles. I thought he actually had a good game.
What got in there for one? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he snuck one in.
That pass that Kyler Murray threw to Marvin Harrison for that big first down in the fourth quarter, dude, Leonard Floyd was all up in his face, and he just threw it up.
That was a really nice throw he did. I was like, motherfucker.
I know.
Come on, of all things.
When he caught that pass, that's when I really knew. All right, it's over. And then they just ran the ball like assholes all the way down. It was just like, oh.
Dude, how about the Cardinal staff? The guys wearing black hoodies, holding up the shade cover for only some of the players.
I know.
I'm like, bro, that's so jacked up. Those guys must be dripping in sweat.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this? Why am I fucking doing this job right now? All I do is squirt water in your mouth. Now I'm holding up your fucking canopy. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unfucking believable. But we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
We got a quick turnaround on Thursday. Niners, Seahawks. Thursday night football. Good chance it could be a shit show for the Niners. Good chance it could be a bounce back game. But I keep feeling like the Seahawk game will be their rock bottom.
Boy, I hope this is rock bottom.
You would have thought the Rams was rock bottom. This is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how they're playing right now. They're inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. You win, you lose. You win, you lose.
Yeah.
The Rams should have been.
We're due to win.
Nobody knows you like your own division, so these games are even extra hard when you're not playing well.
The Rams should have been like their DUI, totaled the car. Like, okay, we got to get our shit together. And instead, 2 weeks later, they got arrested. You know what I mean?
They did it again.
2 weeks later.
They totaled Dad's car the second week.
Yeah.
Car the first week.
2 weeks later, they end up getting arrested. Like, fuck. How are we gonna get out of this one? We'll see what happens. I'm not confident the Niners can win this game. I know they can win. They're talented enough to win it, but right now, I don't see them pulling it off.
Yeah, the way they're playing.
They're not consistent enough to beat anybody, let alone the shitty Cardinals.
I have vision that they can win in Seattle. Let's go. I have faith.
It around now.
Gotta have faith in it.
Get some momentum, get McCaffrey back, and go on a run.
Niner for Life writes, if any of you guys ever come down to Southern California during the 49er game, come watch the game with us at Uncle Howie's Pizza. You know what? I might have to do that. I'm dead serious.
Can Uncle Howie be a sponsor of the show?
Yeah, this stream is brought to you by Uncle Howie's Pizza. I love pizza, dude. Pizza's like my vice. If you put pizza in front of me, I can't just have one slice. I'll have like 7. It's like beer. If I say you give me free beer, I'm gonna drink like the whole case.
No shame.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank Daniel and Dre for coming out here again and delivering a fire show. Once again, this show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports and save up to $20 on your next purchase over at SeatGeek.com. Also, use that same promo code DreArea Sports when making your first bet over at BetUS. They will match you up to 125% on your first 3 bets. On your first 3 deposits over at BetUS. And we're also brought to you by PowerBrandSystems. If you need a website built for your small business or YouTube channel or for whatever you want it built for, these guys will get it done for you. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase over at PowerBrandSystems. If you want an example of the kind of work that they do, then go ahead and check out nicotina.net. That is the homepage for all three of my channels, including DreArea Sports, where memberships and communities are available for you to join and interact with all of us. And I'm constantly posting 49er updates on there nonstop, including, Giants, Warriors, everything else. But mainly just right now, it's hardcore Niners over on the community over at nicotina.net. Yeah, and he's part of the 49ers Booster Club. All right, well, there you go.
There you go. Nice.
So it's worth it. I've seen pictures. There's hella people there, too. So it's not just him and like a buddy with a pitcher of beer. Like, no.
Yeah, go Niners.
It's usually a whole throwdown or shindig, whatever you want to call it.
That's what it should be.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the DreArea Sports Show. Post-game live. Niners fall 24-23 in just fucking awful fashion. And they got a quick turnaround. They're going to be playing Thursday Night Football against the Seahawks in Seattle. But if there's a silver lining, is that if the Niners beat Seattle, they'll be in first place. Go Niners!
We're sticking with it, baby.
We're sticking with it. It's going to happen.
We'll have better conversations next time we meet, guys.
That's it.
Let's hope so. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time.